Hello everyone, and glad to have you back. In our last lesson, we saw how we could create a basic character using Moho. In this lesson, what we're going to do is to learn how to rig the character. Basically, we're going to add bones to our artwork, and we'll be able to change and manipulate things and move the character around in preparation for animation. Let's go ahead and see how we can do that. So I'm going to close this version because it's a version I've already rigged. It's asking me to save. No, I don't want to save this. And we'll just start fresh with this version. To be able to rig, one of the easiest methods you can do is to bind a bone to a layer. So let's see how we can do this. I would like to group every layer that's part of the body together, especially the head. So what I want to do is to group all our head shapes here. So the eyes and all that. I'll use Shift L to select the face, or you could just simply, Shift L is a keyboard shortcut I created for layer selection because I notice each time I really have to go over here to the layer selector and then start doing that. So you can always create a shortcut by going to Edit Keyboard Shortcuts. And if you want to find where a menu item is really quick, just click on this scroll to, and here on the layer group, you can actually see I have created Shift L to be my layer selector. I can even do Control L. Let's try Control L. So first I can just clear this and I'll do Control L. I may include short modifier, but that's just what I used. So I'll just do Shift L and that's it. So I'm using Shift L for this, and you can create shortcut keys for pretty much every tool item and every menu item, but that's not the essence of this lesson. We just want to group the face. So I'll group the face, the cheeks, the mouth, the nose, the eyebrows, and this little hair together. Now what I'll do here under the layers is to hold Control, and I'll hold Control and click on the cheeks, then the eyes, then the brows, then the mouth, the hair, and I believe I can do the ears too. Let me just join the ears together. And like that. So I think we've captured everything we need. So I'll just right click and say group with selection. And I'll call this the face. So I'm double clicking. Oh, let's just call it the head. And one way to quickly see if we've selected everything is to just click on this eye icon, and you can see the entire head is gone. That means we've gotten that head, and that's good to go. So what else do we want to group? I'll leave everything as it is for now. And I'll just collapse this. You can see we have a leg, the other leg, arm. Where's the other arm? So let's just use our layer selector to select and get the other arm. So they are all separate. All right, cool. Then we have the tail separately, and we have the body. So the first thing to do is, in our last lesson, I actually went ahead and created a bone for the entire group. And to do that, you just right click and say convert to bone. It's already a bone, so we won't see the option to convert to a bone. So the first thing we want to do is to add a bone, a parent bone. We'll use this to pretty much hold the mannequin, because this is like, we're going to make this a mannequin right now. So here on the tools, you can see the add bone tool. So I'll just drag one bone, big large bone like that, and this is a bone. This bone is not going to be parented to anything, so I'll just press A and click away. Now note, if you click away from here, you're going to add a bone, so I'll just click away, and that's actually a pin bone. So if you click, you're adding pin bones. We'll look at pin bones later on. So I have a parent bone right here, and what I can do is to select that bone and I'll call this our main bone. And if we want to see the name of the bone, we could just click on show label, and you see our bone is called main. What can we do with this? We can hold this and move it around with the manipulate bones tool, that's Z, and you can see we can move our entire mannequin right here. Now you will notice a very strange large oval type shaped object here. It's just showing us the region where this bone is going to affect the artwork. We don't want it to affect anything, so we'll go here to bone strength, click, and we'll just set it to 0 here. Nice. So let's save this as another version because I like to separate them. I'll just call this Moho Bolo 2 and just click save. I think that's a safe way to do this. So what we're going to do next is to begin to add bones that we'll use to define our character. So I'm going to go back to the add bone tool. Make sure we're not selecting any bones by clicking on the select bone and just clicking away till this becomes the cyan color. And let's add a bone. So I'll drag one here. I'll put one in the middle, and I'll put one right here up to the top of the head. So what I'm going to do next is to select a bone that is going to be the parent of other bones. And what I simply mean is, if I select this chest bone, this one here, it's going to control the arms. Basically, if this bone, let me just go ahead and create that bone. So here, I'll drag this one, and I'll drag another bone here. Next, I'll select this chest bone again, and I'll add a bone for this arm, and I'll drag another selection here. So basically, if I go to the manipulate bone tools and begin to do this, so you can see what's happening here, right? So this chest bone is, the arms are actually following along with that chest bone. We have a lot of work to, basic work to do to fix this, but let's just go ahead. Now for the legs, so I'll just go back to my add bone tool. Now the reason why that's all wobbly and strange is because the strength is really high, right? So it's affecting more than, it's affecting more regions than it should, because this strength here, we can easily see where it's like that. We can just quickly fix that and say, hey, just affect this section like that, and drag this down a bit, and we'll just drag this one here and drag this one here. If we try using manipulate bones tool again, we actually see that that region is a bit better, right? But we're still having some weird artifacting and stretching because Moho is trying to calculate which sections to affect. Don't worry, we're going to fix that right now. So let's continue adding our bones. So right now I want to create bones for the character's leg, and I pretty much just, I don't want any bone here. If I wanted to make this the parent, I'll click on this and then I'll add a bone here, just one bone, click on the parent again, this one, and I'll add just one single bone here. So if we go to manipulate the bones, and I'll adjust the strength, I just dial this down a little bit. If I go to manipulate bones tool or go to Z and I try to move this, it's going to affect these legs. So you can see I have this, and you can see that, which is totally awesome. Next, I want to create a bone for the tail. So I'll click the select bone tool and make sure I click away. I don't want the tail to be a child of any of these bones. I want it to be a separate entity. So I'll go to here, add bones tool, drag one, two, and maybe I'll add one here. And let's go to our bone strength, and let's just dial this down to make sure it just fits that artwork. So we actually noticed when we tried manipulating the bones, it wasn't really giving us the best thing here. And remember, this is our parent bone. If we move this, Okay, I didn't actually make this a parent of the entire thing, so it actually had an issue, because if I click the reparent bone tool, you can actually see all these are parented and this main bone is not parented. Basically, that means we cannot use this to control those bones. Let me show you what I mean by creating a simple bone setup real quick. So if I have this main bone and I now create this one, another one, and these two, if I go to manipulate this bone, you can see how that's just affecting. I'll just go down to the strength on this one, set it to 0, and now I can move all this like that. I'll just quickly undo this because I don't want it to have an influence on the bones I have already. So how do we fix this? We can bind bones to a specific layer. So what I mean is, with this, let's open up, say, this leg here. So I'll select the leg like that, and I'm actually on that layer. So what I'm going to do is go to bone, and I'll flexi bind this using Control Shift F. So I'll just do a Control Shift and F. Make sure I'm selecting that bone, this one, and I want to bind this bone to this leg layer. So I'll do Control Shift F, and you can see it's kind of red. That means it's actually bound to that layer. Let's go to this leg 2. I'll select the bone here, and I'll do a Control Shift F as well. And let's do that for the body bone. So here on the body, I want to bind these two bones to the body. So I'll select this, hold Control, and select the next bone. And I'm selecting it from here, not the main group, but the layer. And I'll do Control Shift F to bind this two bones, the body bone, to this body layer. And let's go to the arm. So I have the left arm, and what I'll do is to select this bone, Shift, select this bone, Control Shift F to flexi bind that bone to this layer. And let's go to the second arm, which is this one. Select this bone, hold Control, select this bone, Control Shift F, and you can actually find the option here to link bones to layer. So I'll just click away. So now what I want to do is to select this entire head group and then bind that to this. Now if I do this, you'll notice it's not actually opening up that menu. So what I can do is to select this, hold Shift, select this, and select this bone. Right, so we're actually binding everything in the head group to this. And I'll just do my Control Shift F, and we are left with the tail. So let's go over to the tail, and this is our tail group. Let's close this and go to the tail and make sure we're on bone. If you select this, that option will disappear because this is the general bone group. We want to select the layer. So this is the tail layer, and we want to bind the bones to the tail layer by selecting this bone, holding Control to select all the other bones, hit Control Shift and F. Now we've flexi bound our character to the specified layers. And you'll actually notice each time we click on a separate layer, you'll notice it's sort of thick. It just simply means these are all bound to a specific layer. Now let's try manipulating this again. So I'll go back to the main group and press Z, and we'll try moving the head. We'll try moving the arm, this other arm, try moving the head and the chest. So you can see now it's moving with the arm like that. It just simply means this chest bone is parented. These are children of the chest bone. That's just what that means. And you can see this bone here is our main bone now, because this is a parent of this. Let's see if we can reparent this to this one here. So if I click the reparent bone, click on this, it means this now is a child of this main bone. So if we go to manipulate bones and we drag this, we can move the entire thing. If we wanted this tailbone to be a child of this, we can click on this, hold Control and click Shift, click on this, reparent. I'll just click on this bone, and then make this a child of this. So click on this bone and make it a child of this one. So I believe let's try doing that. So yeah, we've already done that. So that's how we can reparent that bone structure. And what we can do from here is to begin to animate this character, right? So we have the bones. We can use the manipulate bone tool to manipulate each of these bones. It's not really perfect yet, but it's a good starting point, like that. So we're just rigging, we're just testing out our basic rig. Bye bye, sayonara, like that. Now let's do a simple animation. Now on frame 0, that is where our character is designed. That's our design layer. If we move this, we're in animation, right? We're in animation. So what I'm going to do is just move a bit into the timeline, and I'll set this to 24 frames, and we could just zoom in here. So I'll just move a little bit, and with the manipulate bone tools selected, select bone tool, I'll select this bone, and here I'll use manipulate bone tool, and I'll just drag this arm down a bit, move over here. So this goes down and this goes down as well, and move a few frames. I'll move this back up and back up. Now if we play back, we can see our character waving. And what I want to do is to just go to, say, frame 6, tilt the head to the left, and go to frame 12, 11, tilt the head back to the right. Now if we play this back, we can see our character waving, and I'll just wag his tail a bit. So here, I'll just drag this down and move a bit further, move this, move a bit in the timeline, drag this, move a bit, and then drag this down like that, so we can see what's going on here. And then here I'll just move this leg like that, make them do a split, and then drag this down a bit, drag this back up, and then at the final frame I'll just reset the whole thing. So I'll grab this, Control C and V. Now what I'll do is to drag everything here and turn it to smooth, and let's play our animation. So yeah, so we have a happy little cat right there. And what I want to do is just move this body bone a bit. So here we'll just move this center bone. I'll just slide this. Let's move this backward, so you can see how that bone is affecting anything here, because these are children of this chest bone. We'll just drag this down a bit, And what we can also do is to move the character using that main bone. So let's say here, let's move our character up a bit. I'll drag this back here, drag this back here, and then drag this like that. I'm just making the character dance. And then at frame 24, so I'll copy the beginning frame for the bones because I'm rotating and transforming this, the angle and the position. And I'll just set this to 24 and paste the initial position. So let's try this. Okay, that's a super strange movement, but that's how we can create a basic animation. And what we can do is, if we don't want something, we can always space them like that. We can change the position of the spacing. We can retime this. So let's see these. Just push them back here. So we can change everything we want like that, because I don't want it to be too jerky. Alright, so that's how you can create a nice little wavy animation thing, and you can even render this. So if we go, if we save this and save file, export animation, and we'll just do the entire thing, and same project as export to same folder as project file. I just want to put this in my videos folder. So I'll go to this PC, videos, and I'll select this folder and click OK. So what's going to happen is it's going to do a lot of magic, and we'll have our character being rendered, and you can actually see him dancing. All right, that's awesome. All right, cool. And it's going to play for 1 second. So we have a dancing little baby cat for 1 second of animation. And yeah, we can always clear this. And to say goodbye, so I'll just do something very basic here. Bring the arm down, right? So we'll just move a bit, copy this, and then we'll move over to the ending and copy this like that, and let's play this, and it's just saying goodbye. So that's other ways you can create animations for your character. We can even extend the timeline. It doesn't have to be 24. We can say 100. So okay, let me show you what I mean. So here we've brought back our initial animation. So I'll set this to 48. So I've extended the length. So from 24, what I want to do is to reset. Let's say from 26. I'm going to reset this character. So I'll copy this and paste it over here. So from frame 26, like that, our character is back to his initial position. And what I'll do is to move a few frames here, erase this arm and this one, move a few frames, drop it down, move a few frames forward, raise it up again, move a few frames, drop this down. And we could just add a variation. I like doing this manually, and I'll just drop this down, up, and at 48 it's actually down. Now, I'm going to add a marker here that just tells me, oh, I have an animation from 26. So I'll add this marker and M2, and I'll click OK. And this is going to be I'll add a marker here and M1. Right, so we have two animations. We can have as much as we want, but this is starting from 26 to 48. So if I play this, so we have the bye-bye animation from 26 to 48. So what I can do now is, if I want to just render that, I know the duration of the frame. So I'll go over here, and I can even make this on 2s. Change this to 2 for the interval. So it's going to be slightly choppy like that, and like that. So 26 to 48. So let's go, let's save this. Let's go to File, Export. Sorry, it's Export Animation. There's a shortcut, Control E, and I'm going to do 26 to 48, and the name is going to be, I'll just call this anim2, and I'll go to this folder because I put it in my videos, and I'll click OK. And we should see him waving a little bit like that. So awesome, so cute, so cool. And voila, bye bye. Actually, see that? So bye bye, bye bye. And also, I kind of left the background. If you don't want this to show, because it's rendering everything, we can always turn this off. I think it's better to turn it off so we can see like a proper animation. So yeah, that's how we can, let's see here, and then we can set the head back. Alright, so yeah, a very jerky, weird animation. And yeah, so hopefully you've learned how to create your basic rig using Moho and also creating a basic character. We're going to be doing this over and over again, so yeah. And another thing is, just to finally show you something and to show you that it's not really limiting you to bones, you can go to a layer, let's say the head layer, and go to one of the brows. So here I'll have the transform tool selected for this brow. I'll zoom in a bit. So now I've selected that brow, and what I can do is to move this up like that, and you can see that brow is going to go up. So if I move this, and we can even move this one too. Like that. So we're not limited to just animating the bones. We can even animate vector points, say like for the nose, we can drag this and move here and drag it back like that. So you can see the nose is getting bigger, and we can animate virtually anything right here. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. A peace.